Good morning to everyone and welcome to our staff talks. The ones of you that brought lunch, you have to share with us. No, just kidding. You can go ahead and eat. Feel free to do so. That's what this is about, is a lunchtime meeting type learning experience. So this is our second staff talk series. It's the whole series is based on communication, and I want to introduce our speaker. This is Mr. Matt Schumacher. Matt is a three-time EKU graduate, 2001, 2003, and 2005. This is the deal. Okay, 14 years ago, when Matt was a graduate assistant and he started as a part-time employee, he worked with me and for me in the Vice President's office for Student Affairs. 14 years ago. You're getting old.
I know it.
You're really getting old. Not me, but you. So he is the director of EKU's retention programs and says in his free time, do I really have to say what you like to do in your free time? I mean, really?
It's fun.
He says changing diapers, dirty diapers, and eating his baby's face, and something to do with the Wii.
Crushing my kids in Wii.
Yeah. So please welcome Matt Schumacher.
All right. Thank you all for coming, and those that are watching online or video. So Jennifer asked me, I don't even know how long ago, hey, Matt, you want to do this EKU staff talks and talk about social media? I said, oh, that sounds like a great idea. Well, I didn't think I'm having a baby, and I'm going to be returning maybe at this time, and I'm really tired. And so it was a mistake. But first, let me get connected to the internet real fast. All right, you guys remember this? I just read there's a stat. I think there's like around 1.8 million people still on AOL dial-up. How great would that be right now? But thank you, fast internet. But yeah, I said now that I'm here, it's a terrible mistake. I'm sleepy. I hope I don't say anything inappropriate, but I tend to sometimes. But I'm happy to talk to you all about a little bit about social media, communication, and stuff we're doing here at EKU. So again, the reason for my sleep deprivation is because of this little boy. Here's my little announcement. I made that myself. I'm pretty proud. So he was a full 7 pounds 9 ounces on February 19th. There you go. Okay. So before I get into everything, I want to kind of just take us back. So why do I help with social media at EKU? Well, because I kind of was around at Eastern when social media started bubbling up, and I was a student at the time, and we'll just go to the next screen. Okay, does anyone remember this? And so if you were on social media in the early days, it was the MySpace. Well, I don't think it was the, but we were all friends with Tom, and we were using a lot of like text images and putting just weird graphics, and but EKU actually we got into it. We were part of that early adopter, and hey, that's where people were. We had to be there too. So that's how I became a social pioneer at EKU. Social came up. I felt like EKU needs a presence, and I basically just tried to take ownership of a lot of different social accounts on social media here at Eastern. 2004 is the start of the Facebook, and so that first rolled out for colleges and universities, and EKU we were able, as far as college students, were able to get on it in 2005. So that's another one of my first social as a person was the Facebook, and however for Facebook pages that was a little bit later. And we got an EKU page. I think we created it, started me and Steve Greenwell in 2008, and we kind of went live with it. It was like right after the ice storm, if you recall, with our the Facebook EKU Facebook page. And this is kind of a snapshot of like maybe 2010-ish. We had like 6,000 fans at that time. We have, I don't know, 45,000 followers right now. How many of you have the Facebook? Anyone not have Facebook? Okay, great. Well, I mean, there's a lot of people that have it, but it can also be a huge distractor, and we'll talk about that in a minute. I did not run, there used to be News EKU, and our communications PR office ran that. I started an EKU Missions Twitter account. And you can see at that time, we had 16 followers. So I think this was maybe 2008-ish. There wasn't, as many of our students or that population, that demographic, on Twitter yet, so it wasn't necessarily the right tool to use. And actually, when you talk about social media strategy, you talk about first the demographics, who's using what, and that goes into play as far as what we do as a university now. But this is a throwback to when we first started EKU Missions. So today, I want to talk about, learn about the EKU social media guidelines. We do have guidelines, and if you received a copy in the back, if not, get one on the way out. They're also available online. Understand various types of social media. We're going to learn techniques to utilize social media for professional development. So I really want to hone on this. I want to kind of demonstrate, since this is a professional development series, to learn how can you use the social media that you're on, and maybe you can share some ideas yourself, to get more professional development that way. And review privacy and security settings. This is something that just is ever changing, and it's very important for you to kind of stay up on top of what's happening. Okay, so yeah, our employees they're not just hanging around the water cooler, just talking, shop, things like that. It's just not your face-to-face contact, but they are everywhere. They're basically on the internet, they're in all the different social accounts. They're doing a lot of things online, and everyone's creating their digital footprint. And social media has basically it's widespread. It's taken over our lives. Some people, there's now people are getting addiction, but we can't go without an hour without maybe checking on our phone, or Facebook or Twitter or something, because it's just what we do. Here's some information, some stats about the social media. Twitter, you can see there's over 600 tweets in 24 hours now. Instagram, 70 million photos and videos are posted every 24 hours, every day. Facebook has now reached 1.59 billion people, active users, monthly users. $3.2 million Facebook posts every 60 seconds. I contributed 1 million of those just every 60 seconds. I'm sorry if I flood your feeds. No, actually I don't post too much. 4.5 billion likes generated daily. You see those little guys over to the right? That is a new change. Of course, there's changes every second. Something that just happened. I'll talk about those little guys later. LinkedIn, there's 2 new users every second. How many of you are LinkedIn? I hope I see everyone's hand up, and if you don't have a LinkedIn today, that you join up right after you leave here. You're on your phone right now signing up. So there's the survey, U.S. Americans, we check our social media 17 times per day. So for every waking hour, it's about at least once every hour, usually a little bit more, that we are checking usually on our phones these days. Speaking of phones, this is crazy to me, but I'm probably part of the fault, but we spend over 4.5 hours per day on our phone. So again, waking hours, you're talking about a third of your time, you're like on your phone. And that's pretty nuts. And I have a kid now, and I do work. I have to do, I do some social media for EKU. I check my email, of course, and my wife always kind of warned me, you need to put your phone away. The social media guide, again, so if you were able to get a hard copy in the back, fantastic. It is offered on the Communications and Marketing website, and you'll be able to find it out. So I kind of want to just go over kind of just what I've kind of picked. What are some of the best practices for social? So first, in social, you want to be yourself. You want to be authentic. Be who you are. Things like Yik Yak and other social sites, you're able to kind of, try to be anonymous, although now you have to at least create a username in Yik Yak. That just happened yesterday, so again, stuff's always happening. But just be yourself. Be real. Be transparent. So don't try to hide like who you are, especially if you are, again, you are all, agents of EKU. If you're communicating about Eastern, just, let them know that you are Eastern if you're talking about something about EKU. Play nice, so again, be nice, be good to other people. It's an environment out there, and that, once you post something, it could be there forever. Even if you try to delete it or take it down, that could have been screenshotted and something that could always follow you. So you want to be nice. And you want to be a valued member. What are you contributing to your community, not just your friends and family that you see in person, but also in the whole online digital world, on the internets. All right, be yourself. So it's all about just connecting with people. That's why social was created. If Mark Zuckerberg was here, he'd be talking about, it's all about creating these different connections with one another. And so you see somebody, and especially when the Facebook started, I just meet somebody. Oh gosh, I need to add them to Facebook and things like that. I thought that was always the cool thing. I need to get as many friends as I need on there, and again, I've realized that's also a terrible mistake. But remember, you represent yourselves, but you also represent EKU. So what you're posting reflects back on the institution. And of course, we're in the big political race right now, so sometimes that's all you see flooded in your feeds is the different political commentary. But just remember, even though that's a personal space, though, you have other people that are following you that, again, they go, I know so-and-so works at Eastern and they're posting this kind of stuff. So you're a reflection of everything that you do. So be transparent, build trust. So when you start connecting with one another, again, how you are a helpful member in that community. They first need to learn about you. Well, why should I trust you? Especially, we have our in real life friends, so people we know, but there's a lot of people we meet on the internet that we've connected with that we haven't met face to face yet until you go to a conference or something like that. So, how are they able to read trust in you? Again, when you're talking about EKU, maybe about the budget or information about programs, things like that, and people are asking questions, at that time you might need to just let them know that who you are, what role you play at the university. Just identify. And you also want to be careful working at a university. You have access to a lot of information that should not be shared with the internets or on social media. Proprietary information, confidential information, stuff that, of course, FERPA, holler. So you want to not share ID numbers and information that other folks can't get to. That could create a big security breach and cause a lot of issues. So play nice. Be respectful. So treat others how you want to be respected. And again, not only act like they're just right there in front of you, also do that on the internet. If you kind words can go a long way in fostering relationships. A lot of times, there could be something posted that you don't agree about, and you can get in this big, comments now area and a lot of banter back and forth. Some of these things you have to take offline at a point. I mean, managing the EKU Facebook page. I run these. I co-chair the social media group with Jessica Holly, and there's just sometimes there's not appropriate to kind of do it through a comment or a message through Facebook. Then try to get someone on the phone or have them come in, but you got to just kind of know when it's kind of gone too far. Be a value member. I love Phil Dunphy on Modern Family. Contribute valuable insights. So again, you know your profession. Some of you working 10 plus years, or maybe you're new in your field, but no one knows your job, what you do better than you. So as for professional development, you're going to workshops, conferences, you're learning about your higher education profession. What's happening out in the world in your area that you see and contribute to it. Share those articles, retweet, share on Facebook, but people want to follow you because you have information that is also related to them because you're connecting with like-minded people. Be thoughtful, be caring, think before you post. Especially with our president, he is very connected with the Twitter and social media, and because he puts himself out there to try to help students, in their day-to-day lives, students take advantage of that, and our students need to be trained and understand that it's not necessarily that's not the appropriate way to contact or to address him, and they just because they're behind a screen, or even though maybe their name's attached to that account, they feel more comfortable of posting or tweeting something instead of actually going to the president and talking to him face to face. So it's always important to be respectful and thoughtful to one another. Be mindful of the terms of service. These are things with social and anything online that you sign up for. I mean, who reads the terms of service when you sign up for an account or something? I mean, usually you're scrolling through and it's pages and pages of information. You sign your life away. Facebook has a lot of these different apps that happen. They're putting together like your top 5 photos, or I can't remember some things off the top of my head. But when you sign up for just use those plugins, I mean, they basically now have access to all your profile information, all the connections of your friends and things like that. So just be mindful as far as even not just the Facebook, but these things that kind of pop up every so often, and then you're sharing this other information. Yeah, it's cool to see. It's kind of like, this is Rick. Rick likes to do this. Rick is awesome. Be like Rick. Well, supposedly that wasn't good. That company was basically taking a lot of information from you. Follow EKU's Code of Ethics for Computing Communications. Mark Mayer yesterday was speaking to Student Senate, and he said something like, this policy was created in 1994, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm about to talk about this policy, and it was basically pre-internet and social media, but I did see it was updated in the last couple of years, so that was good to see. But that's the standard to go by as far as a lot of, we don't have a social media policy, we just have guidelines to adhere to, but there is a code of ethics for our computing and communications. So a little bit more about our social media guidelines. For the most part, they're kind of geared towards those. How many of you run a EKU account, departmental account for the university? All right, awesome. If you haven't joined us already, I want to put in a plug for, we have a social media group on campus that exists. We're actually meeting this afternoon. We usually meet monthly. It's going to be in the Whitlock building, 549. So please come. If you can come, we'll get your information and we'll make sure that you're included in the when we meet in the future. But it's just a way to get folks across campus, see what's happening in different areas, what things do we need to be aware of, what can we help promote, how can we cross-collaborate. It's a group unlike any other on campus just because you have people, it's so, you just break down every silo, and I love it. So we provide tips and resources for Facebook, Twitter, Instagram on there. Jessica and I and Brandon Moore, we've done a social media 101 workshop. We're open to basically taking feedback, and if we need to do a social media 095 workshop or something like that, we will do whatever it takes to help the community. But this gets into how to tweet, how to post, what you should post on these different areas, what you should post, how you should use links, how to check the analytics. I'm not going to dig too much in that today. Well, a question we get all the time though is like, I'm thinking about, we need a Twitter. It's like, oh gosh, they come and they contact us. We need a Twitter. We need to go on Facebook. Before I go stop, and let's think about what you're doing. Do you really need it? And that's the question, because when you talk about you want to join something, first off, do you have someone that's going to be able to consistently monitor that, to post to it? Do you have enough content? And we have just some questions that you should kind of ask yourself before you get in anything. But what are your actual goals? Is your demographic that you're trying to reach, are they actually on that particular platform? Have you done research on that? What do you hope to achieve with having a social account as far as a department or something like that? Who are the intended audiences? Again, what is the content? What are the messages you want to share on there? Who is going to create that? So is creating content, who's actually going to take the time to get all that information ready? Who's going to always update it? And then how do you plan to do it? Are you going to do it more on the fly? Are you going to have a scheduler? Or what's your plan to actually post to it? So let's look at what's the number one social media active users? Facebook. Okay, yes, we're at 1.59 billion people. Anyone want to take a guess at number two? YouTube? Twitter. I guarantee none of you are going to get it right. I didn't even get it right.
Oh, it's the Chinese version of Facebook?
Man, Jason Marion, you're the man. Oh, actually, okay, that's number three then. Okay, WhatsApp, number two. So that's owned by Facebook now, right? Don't they have WhatsApp? These messaging services, how many has WhatsApp or Line or Viber? Those are very popular. Okay, yeah, number three, that was the China one. QQ, instant messaging. Facebook Messenger. Okay, so Facebook now has three of the top four. And the Q Zone, so we won't be getting in there. WeChat, and these are in millions. Tumblr, that was a surprise for me. I was like, where's the Twitter? Where's Instagram? Okay, there's Instagram again. That's another, now Facebook. That's growing. Twitter, number 9. Still don't see Snapchat or LinkedIn or YouTube. Sometimes I don't know if YouTube's like or social is more becoming like a warehouse for video. Again, another Chinese. It's kind of a search for a social. And then Skype was tied, so that's a tie for 10th. I got some footnotes. Okay, Snapchat 200 million. It was like 100 million last year, so actually this is growing fast. LinkedIn's 100 million, and Pinterest was 100 million. How many of you on Pinterest? I had to do a refresher. I'm on there too. I like it a lot. If you're a visual person and you like this stuff organized, it helps. I'm going to talk to you about some emerging social media. Gosh, I'm almost running out of time already.
Well.
Okay, Periscope, live streaming. So if you want to record video, the video is becoming a big deal. I never heard of this, but I found this in my research. Blab. If you have a team of 4 people, you can kind of talk to one another, but other people can actually monitor that. So you can kind of see other people's video conversations. Sounds kind of crazy to me. Slack, I know Matt Phelps and Back's a big fan of this. It's good for trying to get away from email and more of a team management communication, team chat. You can share files, integrate with other services. These are replacing the text message and SMS. Has been these WhatsApp, Viber, Line. My wife's from Thailand. We communicated, remember back in the day, if you called internationally, like an international calling card and things like that. Well, now you can just, if you have access to the internet, you got it free. A lot of these have video embedded into it. And of course, Snapchat, 8 billion views daily. So now all the brands, everyone's trying to get on here. This is where everything is going. It's not just for, these young demographic. But because it's an easy way to share text message, video, photo real fast. People can add it to have their stories every day. Kim Kardashian just got on it. I know everyone's going to rush to it now. I want to talk about these little emoticons, emojis, reactions. So Facebook just updated. They just not just like the like button. Everyone was asking where's the dislike button. That's what we want. Instead, they brought us this. So they did a lot of research as far as what are the different emotions or reactions people are doing. What are they typing in? What kind of those stickers they use, and from that, they've identified these 7 top ones. So when you go to like something, that will pop up, and you can select any of these in it. But Facebook is smart. It's not just for us to kind of use it in our day-to-day lives to love babies or whatever, but they're just then now curate even more data and information. So they're kind of just seeing how people are behaving online and what are some of the things they're liking or loving or whatever, and then you'll get more ads and fun stuff like that. No, I don't know. Emoticons and emojis. Again, this is like a nonverbal communication, and this actually is becoming more it's welcome to the business environment. Before it was kind of like, oh, that was frowned upon, that's more for your messaging. But no, it's actually a great way to communicate with others, even in the professional world. It's bridging the generational gap. We're having more and more young people in the workforce, more millennials. This is stuff that they've kind of just grew up and are using. So to kind of connect with them, but email is toneless, and it's hard to get a feeling from someone in an email. But if you throw in an emoji or even a smiley face or whatever, you can kind of get a better gist of where that person's coming from. 76% of American employees have used an emoji in a digital communication at work, and that was in 2014. So it's probably even more now. So again, this is becoming acceptable in the workplace, and I like emojis and stuff like that. And GIF or GIF or whoever it's called. Well, I like them. It could drive you nuts as well. But it stands for Graphics Interchange Format or Moving Images. It's easily searchable on Twitter. That's a big thing. Twitter just released now where you can actually click on the GIF button, and you can actually now do a search for different emotions and reactions. Visual communication, again, you're conveying reactions. It's a way to get more engagement. When we're talking with, you're communicating with prospective students, things like that. I mean, this is the way to go. This is a way to reach them, and they'll be like, all right, I can relate. Line, I mean, they've gone to the point where when you type in the text, they are now showing up different emojis, emoticons, as a potential thing to use over it. So they're becoming so visual, and this is kind of just, again, it's going from the text up into a more of a visual type communication platform. Facebook, of course, has more stickers and stuff these days. But this is what I want to focus on is, how can you use these things? Again, we use these in our daily lives all the time, but how can you use them in professional development? These are just kind of some things I do on some of these platforms for my professional development. Facebook. Did you know, Facebook has an interest list? So you could then create one of your own, or there's some available. So it's on this left-hand side, and down here at the bottom it says interest, but there's some default ones where you can just follow a lot of news sites. You do not have to like a page to get the information in your feed then. So this is a way to kind of bypass that and use the interest as well. So I don't have to like everything to make sure I get my news, because a lot of people are getting information from there now. I can just create these interests. So you can create it yourself. You can make them public or private. But there's all your professional conferences and organizations. They also have Facebook pages as well. Go ahead and just create one with all those organizations or what you want, and follow it. I've got all the main social accounts, so I can kind of see what's happening day to day as social as it updates. Facebook, if you just search Facebook interest, you'll get a help page, and it'll show you real quick how to create that. You can save links for later. So if you click on a post, it's got a little downward arrow, and now you can save post. So your family member posts a cute baby picture, or you see a good article online, and you just don't, instead of just seeing it at that moment, you can then save that, and it'll be stored on your Facebook. It's kind of a bookmark within Facebook itself. So you're getting so much information. How can you save that for later? This is a good way to do that. So I've gone back and saved some of my old, because Facebook, they have the I don't know what's called, the graphic search or something, but you can actually go back and search even all your old content. You can actually go to your settings in Facebook and download your entire Facebook archive. So you can see your page from the beginning, and you can get all your photos from there. So you guys own that. I recommend doing that sometime, just so you have that information. Okay, Twitter, I'll just say, is my favorite platform. And I guess I like hashtags. That's another thing I like. But again, for higher education, if you just search higher ed, hashtag higher ed, or just search even higher ed, you'll see a lot of folks just posting, writing a lot of great content with this hashtag. And then there's some for particular segments, admissions, student affairs, community college, residence life, and even professional development. Or actually, no, that's professor development. So there's even instruction, professors, they're posting information too. If you go, anyone read Inside Higher Ed, they actually have a directory of different social Twitter hashtags to follow. Included in that, they have also Twitter chats to follow. So this happens in real time, but it could be an ongoing type chat. But academic advising, so they have certain, like 1 day a week, for an hour at a time, they're talking about a particular topic using this hashtag. You'll see a lot of advisors just use this in general just for professional development purposes. Student Affairs Chat, another big one. Again, they have a time where you could tweet in real time. They'll ask questions, 5 questions about this topic, and then you can respond. It's also a good way to build your network. You're now connecting with other professionals doing what you do. And then if you are adding value and insight on your Twitter, they will also follow back, and it's a good way to create a community. Enrollment management's on there. Higher Ed Live is another great hashtag for chat. You can attend conferences without actually physically being there if you're on Twitter. And you don't even actually need to be on Twitter to do this. You can actually just go to the Twitter page and just do the search, and you can see this without even having an account. The ACPA Student Affairs Conference just happened this past week. You just go on there, you can look at the top tweets, get great content. They share their presentations on there, and they share that online on SlideShare or whatever. The NASPA conference is coming up, so I know a couple of you go on there, but you don't have to be there to follow that. Now, there'll be folks there obviously live doing it. Anytime you go to a conference, that's all they're talking about now. Use this hashtag. Well, go back and get the content too if you're not able to go. High Ed Web, these are just a few that I'm aware of, that I'm interested. And then Twitter lists. Twitter lists are one of my favorite things of Twitter. You can organize your followers. I follow, I think, 1,200 people on Twitter. That's stupid a lot. I mean, but more people follow that. But how am I supposed to know what's happening with any of you if I don't create Twitter lists? It basically breaks that down into smaller populations. So I have my friends actually that I care about if I want to make sure I don't miss a tweet from them. Other ideas, you never miss a tweet then. Your friends, these are just some ideas. Interdepartment. I create one for EKU, so all the different EKU accounts. And that's how I also monitor from the EKU stories, just what is happening across campus. But you can create lists for anything. So how to do a list, all you have to do, find an interesting person you see tweeting, click on their page, their Twitter account, and then they'll have a list. See what they're following, because you can actually just, if it's public, you can join theirs. Or you can create your own, public or even private. So when you're talking about, if you're an interdepartment and you want to know what other colleges are doing, other colleges of education or other student success center, and you don't want to necessarily follow it from that departmental account, you can create a private list then, and basically you're tracking your competition, right? But that's also best practices. What are they doing out there? So you don't have to follow that to actually get, see what's happening. LinkedIn. So hopefully y'all have a LinkedIn. I know Anna's been very active on it, updating your profile, and that's what you want to do. This is something you want to keep up to date, a professional profile. It is not your Facebook, it's not your Twitter, it's not, you're not posting that you just got a Starbucks latte or whatever, but you are actually getting this, you're getting this professional development, higher education information, and you're sharing this on LinkedIn. And just don't do it when you're ready to search for a job either. I mean, if you haven't done it in a while and all of a sudden someone's updated their account, someone's looking for a job. Do it all the time, but it is a good way to, again, build your network, build your professional network. It's okay to connect with people you don't know necessarily on this, although it says, are you sure you're friends? If I see people doing some of the same job I'm doing, I'm just going to go connect with them, and I'll kind of bypass it, and I'll say, yes, I know them as a friend, and they can then connect with me if they want. If not, they'll just deny me. I don't care. But you want to have this fully updated. Just don't have one, but have a professional profile, have your summary, have everything set up on your LinkedIn. But the big value within this too is the groups. Join the groups in here. There's a lot of, again, whatever group that you're interested in, a lot of professional development, anything that you do in your field, it's on there. Triva is another big LinkedIn member. However, the big thing with this is once you sign up for a group, it's like automatically sets you up with all these darn notifications, email notifications. So LinkedIn will start just bombarding you, and you're going to hate it. So the first thing you do after you join the group is change your settings so you get those either once a week or something like that. Otherwise, you're going to be like, man, Matt told me to get on LinkedIn, but I'm getting all kinds of email. You just make sure you just change how you want to be notified. But here's some higher education LinkedIn groups. So there's higher education management, over 91,000 people on there. Marketing communications, administration, financial aid and enrollment, inside higher ed conversation. Be in tune of what's happening in your area. Pinterest. So again, there's a professional development board. I think this might be more regards to K through 12, but if you just search certain keywords, or you'll find a lot of good, professional development within Pinterest. And I create a lot of stuff from the classroom. I teach a GSD class. It's how I help manage when I go through my syllabus and my content. I've got like a board for each of the areas I'm talking about. How to manage all this? One tool I would recommend would be Hootsuite. So if you want to manage multiple networks in one area, this is one tool that I recommend using. You can use up to 3 different accounts. So if you have a Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, 3 for free. If you want more, it costs more. But within that, if you have your Twitter listed and you have multiple Twitters, you could add those to it. But then you can actually put your list in there. So I don't have to go through and always click my button. Once I open my Hootsuite, or Hootsuite, whatever it's called, I actually have then in columns all my streams. You can schedule posts, and it's a great tool for teams. So this is kind of just a snapshot, and it's not captured everything, but I have my home feed for Twitter. I have an EKU search for Twitter, or a list, and then I have a search, higher ed list I created, and then a higher ed search. And so that's how it comes up to me. And again, that could be very overwhelming at first. A lot of this is. This is all a digital distraction, but it's how you use it and how you use it appropriately. Privacy and security settings, just click through. You just want to make sure you just keep up to date on what's happening, share a positive way. What I tell students, whatever you post online, you want to stay online. You just want to always think twice what you post. Keep personal info personal. Okay. A lot of people have babies, they want to share all their information and on Facebook or whatever. I've posted one picture, but before all the internet and everything, the only people that saw that was my family or people that came over and looked at my photo albums. So I wouldn't necessarily want to share. I'm friends with 1,500 people on Facebook. I don't know probably 1,400 of them actually. So I'm not necessarily going to just share my kid out there. What I have done, and I thought it was a great idea, this was from my wife's suggestion, we've created just a private one for our son actually, and of course we're infringing on his rights already, but we've only friended though our immediate family, and so at least if they want to see different updates, they can get that information, right? And we change the settings so if they're liking it, it's not going to be seen everywhere. Own your online presence, own your brand. I mean, this is all about your own personal brand. We are our own marketers of what we do. Facebook, they have a really great, it's very easy to go through and just kind of be kept up to date on what their settings are. You can type in any person that follows you to see what your page looks like to them, just to see are you kept up as far as who sees what. Because with Facebook you can post so not everyone sees your post. Security settings, again, they have a good resource tools online. I just real fast, and I want to talk about email. I hate email. I am the worst at email. If I looked at my phone, it would say I have like 70,000 unread messages or something. I don't know what you guys feel about it, but first what I would recommend, turn off any notification or sounds with email. You do not let your email own you. You need to own your email. One of the best life hacker type tricks or what gets stuff done is do at least one productive thing. I mean, you have your to-do list, do that first. Don't go in there and just all of a sudden you're in your email and then that's what you're getting run over by. Because you're just trying to be more reactive throughout the whole day then. But I got a lot on my plate and I can tell you, some people are very good at responding back very quickly. And I actually thank you for that because usually I need a response fairly fast. But I'm not good at that. And if my policy is definitely you'll hear with me in 24 hours or I'll get back to you by the end of the day. If I see it's not urgent. And that's talking about urgent. So I set 3 folders. my urgent folders, my today, and low priority. So now that I get my emails come in, I'll just touch my email just a couple times a day. I don't have it like flashing up or whatever and ding-donging or whatever. But once I do check it, then I go, okay, this is urgent. I need to get to this now. And so I'll usually probably need to respond to that. Or if it's today, it's in my today folder, and I will respond to that by the end of the day. And if it's low priority, something that I don't need to get to, I'll fall by the wayside for a little bit. The other cool thing, I don't know how many of you do this, is setting up like kind of your rules in your automatic type feed. So I want to make sure that I'm not missing the email from Shelly or Laura or Taisha or Dr. Palka. So they have these, it'll just feed right to those folders, and they won't get lost. This just happened to me actually when I was on the paternity leave, because I was getting a lot of stuff, and I wanted to make sure that I was still getting what they were sending. You can set up categories as well. So set up different themes. If you manage, different projects and programs, whatever makes sense to you. I have a Student Success Center one. I have a diverse student retention. I have a life skills. I have a student success leadership. But you can then categorize those into broader themes, and they're easier to search, and kind of like you're tagging them. So don't be like that cat. He's bad. These are awesome wiener dogs. I got a Dachshund, and they're just running through a field. And any questions? Well, and some other people might be even more tuned to it than me. You can actually, it is messaging, but it's now the My Stories. So you actually, throughout the day, what you're posting, you can share it, and that becomes then more available for 24 hours. Or you can send snaps to individual people that only you want them to see that. But anyone can screenshot a snap, so it's not, again, just something that you think, oh, it's going to disappear and go away. They can always screenshot it. But you can also even instant message through Snapchat now. So you can have a messaging going back and forth with somebody. But brands are getting on there. It's a way for them to kind of share a certain something that's going on. There's something called geo filters. So EKU, we have our own geo filter. If you're within EKU and you slide through the filters on there, you would be able to kind of like show that you're at Eastern Kentucky University. They've also created one kind of an on-demand. If there's a conference going on, or say there's an event on campus, companies can now get, or even people get, a geo filter just for that particular event. And that way, when people are posting at a conference or whatever, they can use that and kind of show that I'm at that moment. But then you do a short little video or picture or even text. And it was really young demographic, and people were like, oh gosh, Snapchat's going to be the end of the world. But it's really used in a, some people, that's how they communicate even with their teenage kids or what have you. But it's just become just another good resource, a good tool. And it's not nothing public that, if EKU Stories has one, and Admissions runs that, it's college students are on there, they're following it, they're noticing it. And then sometimes we'll take that and we'll take a snap and we'll make it public to then the Twitter and Facebook, so you can kind of see that. But otherwise, it's really just within that in Snapchat itself. But it's, there's Peach now, and, that was once, there's a lot of fads coming in and out, and you could, cake somebody's face or something, but there's always these new doodads every day that it's hard to keep up with. You just need to find out, who do you want to communicate with? What's the right circle for you? Are they using it? And is that the best way to communicate? And try it out. The easiest way, a lot of this is all free, so it's just a play and see. It's what I do. Well, again, I am very tired. When I was looking up some things, there was a lot of things I probably didn't talk about. But yes, GroupMe, another group messaging, yeah.
Well, I look to you as if it's you have it. So
no, I got too much. I mean, my phone is filled with apps, but I probably use like 2% of them because I like to play. I just want to see what's the value or function. And again, if I got people, my team's using it, then I'll use it. GroupMe. There's something, I'm drawing a blank, Remind for the classroom. I use that for my students. There's all kinds of tools that we can go on for days. don't go for, I'm not the guru in this at all, don't, no. So, all right. Well, thank you all for coming.
Okay, I learned a few things. I don't know about you all, but I'm going to go back to my office and create all kinds of lists. We want to thank Matt for doing our staff talks. It was wonderful. I learned so much. And this is just a certificate of appreciation for you from
you.
Staff Council. And we really appreciate you doing this. You did a great job.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.